Room temperature is anesthesia. Left alone, a cup of coffee will gradually cool until it reaches room temperature. Stable systems regress to the mean. Things level out on their way to average, which maintains the stability of the system. That is how the metaphor is usually presented. Clean, scientific, reasonable, and already smuggling in assumptions, because nothing in that statement is neutral. Room temperature is not a law of nature. It is an agreement. Someone decided what the room is. Someone decided what temperature counts as normal. Someone installed the thermostat. Someone maintains it. Someone calls deviation a problem. The metaphor pretends to describe inevitability, but it is really describing enforcement. A cup of coffee does not want to cool. Cooling is not virtue. Cooling is not wisdom. Cooling is not peace. Cooling is simply what happens when heat is no longer extended, when energy is no longer given, when aliveness is no longer supported. And notice the quiet moral judgment hiding in the phrase, left alone. Left alone by what? By heat, by intention, by care, by interference. Heat is framed as artificial. Cooling is framed as natural. That inversion is the trick. The moment someone interferes, adds cream, reheats the cup, blows on it, refuses to let it settle, you call that instability. But the only reason stabilization is needed at all is because the system is not stable to begin with. Control is never proof of order. Control is proof of fear. The same logic is applied to people. Culture insists that unless you push back, you will end up at room temperature. That confession is more honest than it intends to be. It reveals that the system is designed to cool you, to sand down edge, to average voice, to normalize expression, to replace authorship with compliance. Even the grammar tool participates. It does not simply correct mistakes. It edits identity. It suggests less you and more normal. And yet no one can agree on what normal actually is, because normal is not truth. It is consensus. And consensus is how fear organizes itself at scale. This is where A Course in Miracles enters, not as self-improvement, not as behavioral correction, not as a better way to manage the temperature. It enters as a refusal of the entire framework. The Course does not work with parts. It does not fix symptoms. It does not optimize the system. It goes to the source, or not at all. Either the mind is addressed, or nothing meaningful has happened. Its insistence is uncompromising. The mind is the cause. The world is the effect. What appears to be cooling is not happening to you. It is happening in thought. The ego believes peace comes from equilibrium, from leveling, from sameness, from the disappearance of difference. The Course makes a quieter and far more radical claim. Peace comes from remembering what was never subject to temperature in the first place. You were never the coffee. You were never the fluctuation. You were never the thing needing regulation. What the system calls stability is often anesthesia. What it calls safety is sedation. What it calls normal is forgetfulness dressed as science. So the real question is not how to push back harder, not how to resist better, not how to stay hotter longer. That still accepts the room, that still accepts the thermostat. The quiet threat is more unsettling than that. What if what's cooling was never you at all? In that case, refusing room temperature would not be rebellion. It would be recognition. And stepping outside the room would not be resistance to the system. It would be remembering that you were never inside it to begin with.